Frid och shalom, älskade vänner. Ja, man är lite sliten nu efter de här dagarna som krigskorrespondent. Men det är ett viktigt arbete att förmedla de här nyheterna på svenska för er vänner som inte är så bra på engelska. Och den här uppgiften vill vi, Elvor och jag, ta på oss. Jag gick och la mig igår 23:30 och då var läget följande. Det var fullt av rök in i Gaza. Man såg ingenting i kameran och plötsligt så släcktes samtliga ljus som man kunde se då. Så det var becksvart där inne. Man hörde jetplan drog omkring och sköt och det small våldsamt ett tag där. Bland de värsta bombningarna på den här veckan, sa man. Tydligen är det så här att från och med klockan 09 på morgonen kommer en humanitär vapenvila inledas, men endast i den södra delen av Gazaremsan. Vapenvilan kommer att pågå i cirka 5 timmar, under vilket några av invånarna på Gazaremsan kommer tillåtas att resa till Egypten genom gränsövergången i Rafah. Det bör understrykas att detta är en ensidig vapenvila, står det här då. Det är från Amir, så det kommer från säkra källor, han vet vad han pratar om. En Fox News-korrespondent sa igår: det finns förståelse på marken för att Israel-Gaza bara kan vara början. Titta på mängden amerikanska militära resurser som är på väg i den riktningen. Evakueringen av amerikanska medborgare till sjöss. Iranskt FN-möte med Hamas-ledare och attacker från Hezbollah. Ja, det hettas upp verkligen och det kan hända vad som helst. Särskilt nu då, senaste nyheten som vi fick här då. Turkiet flotta drar ner mot krigsfronten och det gör ju läget väldigt komplicerat. Ja, då, det är väl en övning vad vi kan förstå här då. Den ska pågå i 4 dagar då. Och då kommer vi avgöra sen vilken sida Turkiet kommer att stå på. Här följer nu en hopklippt video som visar det övergripande läget i regionen. Så hörs vi under dagen på Telegram och lägger upp de viktigaste nyheterna på vår hemsida. Gud välsigne er alla. Vi hörs under dagen. I Jesu namn. Amen.
Israeli warships were also involved in the war. Israeli army took action again towards Gaza. For this purpose, various tanks and many infantrymen were deployed on the border. Then, a raid was carried out against Hamas positions in Gaza. As part of the raid, these critical positions of Hamas and its leaders were hit with strong land and airstrikes. Another Hamas commander was neutralized. Thereupon, Israeli warships also stepped in. Clashes continued at sea. Israeli warships advanced across the sea towards Gaza and opened fire on the positions of Hamas terrorists. In response, Hamas terrorist organization fighters were seen trying to respond with boats. However, Hamas militants who fell into the sea were neutralized, because the soldiers on Israeli warships opened fire on the terrorist groups at sea and did not give them the opportunity to escape. The Israeli army simultaneously opened fire on many points of Gaza in a ground operation. These attacks were launched with tanks. Israel's Merkava tanks were supported by airborne warplanes. The positions of Hamas commanders and terrorist groups detected in the region were hit. These important Hamas positions were destroyed by both air and ground attacks. In response, Hamas terrorists launched missile attacks on Israeli regions such as Ashkelon and Tel Aviv with their systems deep in Gaza. The Israeli army took immediate action and activated the Iron Dome system. However, this Israeli air defense system uses missiles worth approximately $80,000 to prevent Hamas missiles. The success rate of the missiles is approximately 90%. This ensures that almost all Hamas missiles are blocked. The missiles launched by Hamas cost only around $600, so while attack is cheap, defense is expensive. For this reason, the Israeli army is also launching a ground operation. These land operations also require high costs, but the aim is to increase the number of raids. The biggest risk of land operations is the possibility of Hezbollah's side becoming more involved in the war. Tension is also rising on the Hezbollah side in Israel's north. Gunshots were heard in the Metula region, located in the northernmost part of Israel. A conflict broke out between Israeli soldiers stationed at this point and Hezbollah terrorists in the direction of Amra. In this conflict, the Israeli army took advantage of the forestry nature of the Metula region. The Israeli brigade, which was able to advance by hiding in the region, shot and neutralized Hezbollah positions and militants. In addition, the Israeli army carried out artillery bombardment on the positions of the Hezbollah terrorist organization in the towns on the Lebanese border. Attacks were also carried out with guided missiles. This situation shows that the course of mutual attacks on the Lebanese side has increased. Because Hezbollah terrorist groups also carried out an anti-tank guided missile attack on military bases in the north of Israel, close to the Lebanese border. Israeli tanks were also targeted in these attacks. It is estimated that the attacks targeted the Avivim military base on Israel's northern border. Thus, it seems that the military base is perceived as the biggest threat. Then it was revealed that Hezbollah terrorists tried to hit these Avivim and Biranit military points of Israel on the Lebanese border with light weapons. These militants also claimed responsibility by opening fire on military outposts from areas such as Marun al-Ras in southern Lebanon. Missile attacks have been carried out on the Yiftah region on the Lebanese border at least 4 times since the morning hours. However, the attack attempts organized by Hezbollah failed to achieve their purpose, because most of these attacks were blocked by Israel's Iron Dome defense system. Thus, even attack attempts by terrorist groups resulted in wasted ammunition loss. This situation will ensure that militants will face a serious loss of power in possible attacks, and the success rate will already decrease. Israeli army launched retaliatory attacks with artillery bombardment. Hezbollah positions located in western Lebanon regions in the border region are being hit. For this reason, the Israeli army is on alert and responds to attacks coming from this point. Israeli troops reported that they attacked Hezbollah's military targets in response to the attack on soldiers on the Lebanese border. Thereupon, Israeli bombardments focused on the west of southern Lebanon. Although Hezbollah militants cannot yet fully participate in the war in terms of logistics, they continue their efforts to hit military points in Israel. However, it is thought that Hezbollah may also take action as ground operations begin in Gaza. In particular, it is estimated that Hezbollah will launch an attack on Israel simultaneously with Hamas terrorists, with its united front plan. If the Hezbollah side gets involved in the war, it will inevitably be inadequate against a country with strong military resources like Israel. This will require them to launch an attack from the direction of Syria. In this case, Hezbollah will need to get support from some countries such as Iran. The possibility of Iran wanting to fully participate in this war is a matter of curiosity. Moreover, the United States has initiated deterrence policies to prevent a third country from entering the region. For this reason, it was emphasized that even aid from the United States, including 2 consecutive aircraft carriers and many military ships, was sent to deter Iran. This shows that the Hezbollah group's full involvement in the war and launching an attack at the same time as Hamas will also mobilize the United States, because it is thought that these 2 groups may have connections with Iran. Therefore, if the tension rises, the course of the war will become completely different. This situation shows that there is no margin for error on the part of the militants, so the United States does not want a third country in the region. It is understood that the United States is in the region because the Hezbollah terrorist organization is supported by Iran. A senior American official warned that the war between Israel and Hamas could turn into a broader conflict in the Middle East. In particular, it is thought that Hezbollah terrorist organization fighters in Lebanon will attack the north of Israel, and Iran will increase its retaliatory attacks. Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdollahian told Al Jazeera with his remarkable statements that he could not stand by and watch Israel's war against Hamas. Regarding this, he stated, "If stopping the attack on Gaza is not successful, it is possible that the war fronts will be expanded, and this possibility is increasing with each passing hour." These developments show that relations between countries have become much more critical. Any possible attack attempt is immediately blocked by Israel. Moreover, multiple attacks are being carried out in response. This situation may lead to the exhaustion of the power of terrorist groups. Thus, they will regret even carrying out the attacks, and their withdrawal will become inevitable. Tension will continue to rise as the steps taken and decisions made now have greater importance. For this, the Israeli army is expected to take action simultaneously in both the north and south. With the use of various military equipment and systems such as Iron Dome, all attack attempts will be successfully prevented. This will make it easier for terrorist groups to become frustrated as a result of heavy losses and defeats. The course of the war will also be shaped by these developments. In fact, operations will be increased and intensified in order to exhaust the power of terrorist organizations. For this, preparations have already been made along the Gaza Strip with the Iron Dome air defense system, Merkava main battle tanks, and various weapons. Thanks to these powerful weapons and systems, the attacks that Hamas can carry out throughout Gaza will be limited. Israeli army will successfully repel attack attempts by gathering forces in many directions. As such measures and strengthening increases, subsequent attacks by terrorist groups will also decrease, because its existing resources continue to be hit and reduced by the Israeli army day by day. Thus, it becomes necessary to reduce the power of the attacks. Israel, on the other hand, will gain the advantage and strengthen its counterattacks by blocking all of its attacks. We'll see what happens in the
Hamas militants continues to escalate. In the midst of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a remarkable development has emerged in the eastern Mediterranean that has attracted the attention of the whole world. October 1st, October 20, the Turkish naval forces have issued a Navtex notification officially announcing that it will direct the entire naval fleet to the region. This announcement reaches a very important milestone and triggers a lot of questions about the potential consequences in this strategically vital area. Is Turkey also getting involved in the war now? Turkish leader Erdogan did not pick up his phones during the morning. After the meeting with NATO in the background, the Turkish General Staff officially released this news, which will shock Iran and Syria. Turkish President Erdogan gave the order for the operation to his General Staff. Now the Turkish soldiers have officially left for Palestine. While the hours were coming to 5 a.m. U.S. time, the Turkish army set off from the Mediterranean. By noon, the Navtex notification was published. According to the Navtex notification, Turkish soldiers would surround Palestine from the sea for 4 days. The decision of the Turkish naval forces to concentrate their fleet in the eastern Mediterranean is becoming the focus of the ongoing complexities of the region and regional tensions. This region has become the environment in which numerous stakeholders are fighting for control over territorial waters, access to invaluable marine resources, and dominance over important transit routes. As a result, any military activity carried out in this region has significant consequences that are subject to the scrutiny of the international community. With the Turkish Navy heading to the eastern Mediterranean, they are actually emerging against the background of the war, which is already complicated. The eastern Mediterranean has long been the focus of disputes over regional borders, contentious energy resources, and ongoing regional power struggles. The announcement of the Navy serves as a clear reminder of the unstable balance of power in the region and highlights the potential for further escalation of tensions in the already unstable environment. After all these developments, Turkey will choose its side after this exercise. The Turkish army, which has decided to closely monitor the attacks of Iran and Lebanon on Israel by polling the pulse of the region, is the army most likely to enter the war in the region. If Turkey enters the war, all the balances in the region will change.